next.
Yeah, bright and early on this Saturday morning. And if you're a social worker, if you work in social services, do have a listen to this and text in with what you think to 85058. The government has announced a £10 million grant to treble the number of social workers trained in mental health. The Think Ahead Fast Track scheme will recruit 200 new graduates to train on the job in community mental health teams across the UK. We can speak to Natalie Acton, who's CEO of Think Ahead, joins us in the studio. Good morning, Natalie. What shape is the profession in, first of all? Not good, is it?
Well, we're delighted that the Department of Health has given us this money because it will allow us to train hundreds more talented graduates to work with thousands of people with mental health problems across the country. And we've based our programme on the very best practice across the country. We know that 1 in 4 people have a mental health problem, and mental health social workers can make a huge difference to their lives.
But sorry, I asked you, what kind of profession will those graduates be going into? What do you see as the health of that profession at the moment?
Yeah, so it's a very challenging profession, but also very rewarding. And we're working with a number of NHS mental health trusts across the country who are delivering the very best practice in mental health social work. So our graduates will be trained in an intensive 14-month programme, at the end of which they will be qualified social workers, and they will be working in units of 4 graduates with a consultant social worker overseeing their work.
Right. Is it the kind of profession which can be fast-tracked? Because traditionally graduates spend 3 years studying for a degree to qualify as a social worker. As you mentioned, this scheme will allow graduates to qualify after only 14 months. Is it the kind of job where we should be rushing people through?
Well, actually, by the end of our scheme, by the time they qualify, our participants will have done more on-the-job training and had more academic input than the average social work course. So it's not a quick fix. We're just packing an awful lot of training into a very short time. So unlike on other social work courses, our graduates won't, for example, have long summer holidays, long Easter holidays, long Christmas holidays. They'll be working very intensively.
But after 14 months, you're absolutely hands-on, aren't you? And I just wonder if the answer to some of the profession's problems is the academically gifted, the absolute sharpest thinkers we can find, when you're talking about a profession which is so rooted in that other quality, the quality of empathy,
yes,
which takes time to develop, doesn't it? It's not something you learn in a classroom, and it's not something you can learn necessarily that quickly.
No, absolutely. I mean, as well as intelligence, we've also been testing, when we've been selecting our applicants, for emotional intelligence. So we've been looking for empathy, we've been looking for relationship building skills, and we've been working with mental health social workers themselves and also people with mental health problems to make sure that we pick people who really have those innate qualities. We had 23 applications for each one of our places this year in our first year of recruitment. So it's proving hugely popular with graduates, and that's enabled us to be really quite picky about who we've chosen. So we had a really rigorous selection process where we tested for these attributes. And what we're finding is that it's very popular with graduates, and a lot of graduates from all sorts of universities. We had over 50 people from over 50 universities who we chose this year, are really attracted to working with people with mental health problems.
Are they going to be getting the real picture? I can see the attraction in feeling that you're going to be making a difference to people's lives, but are they going to be getting a real idea of the issues that the profession is facing at the moment? Because some critics say, when you're talking about assessments, which you hear from social workers is a fairly endless thing, statutory requirements, finding beds for people in a mental health crisis, the lack of resources. Are you going to be touching on all of that? Because they are the bits of the profession that people are going to get bogged down in, aren't they?
Yes, well, it's very important to us that people know the job that they're going into. So during all of our activities, when we're talking to people interested in applying for the programme, we're very clear that social work is a hugely rewarding profession, but it's also very challenging. Mental health social workers are working with a very particular subset of people with mental health problems. They're working with people with severe and enduring mental illness, so people who have diagnoses such as bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, personality disorder. And during our selection process, we're really trying to check that people are aware of these issues, and also that they have the personal resilience to do the job.
Because it's not just about qualifying for the job, is it? It's about retaining those people once they have qualified as well, which we see as being a problem in all sorts of professions. And is there any concern? I know there is some concern from some critics that once you've got the qualification, once people have got into that role, it's just going to be a stepping stone into something else, down the line, whatever that may be. So do a couple of years in social work, use that qualification, use that experience to get a different job and perhaps a more highly paid job.
Well, people with mental health problems themselves have told us that it's really important to them that the people who work with them have commitment, that they're passionate about working with them, and also that they're gonna see it through. So one of the things that we're testing for when we're selecting graduates to this very competitive scheme is that they have the motivation and the commitment to work in this profession.
Okay. Good to speak to you, Natalie, and thanks for explaining that. Natalie Acton, who's the CEO of Think Ahead. As I say, if you work in social services, let us know what you think about this idea. 85058 is the text number. It's 18 minutes past 6.
This is 5 Live Breakfast.